We are currently experiencing a worldwide obsession with the movie Obsession, written and directed by Curry Barker. Even though I personally wasn't as obsessed with the film as many others were, there is still an undeniable efficiency in its ability to establish a sense of uneasiness, build tension, and deliver satisfying scares when it needed to. And personally, I found the bedroom scene in the first act of the film to be the most suspenseful and unsettling scene in the entire film. And in this video, I just wanted to unpack why and how it manages to achieve its terror so well. But before we move on, y'all know the dealio. If you enjoy my content, make sure to like, subscribe, support me on Patreon, and all that good stuff that makes my heart whole. Also, this video will obviously contain some spoilers about the film, so if that's gonna bother you, I don't really know why you're here, so please kindly see yourself out and come back later after you've seen the film. Alright, so first things first, we gotta talk about a few crucial events that led up to the terrifying bedroom scene. So Bear took Nikki out on a date, which at first went well, but once he starts confronting her about lying about her father's illness, she pulls the famous,
No, don't do it!
And despite the fact that at this point, he truly knows that deep down that the quote-unquote love that she has for him was completely forced upon her by his one-wish Willow, he still makes a conscious decision to have sex with her and continue the relationship. And honestly, on a conceptual level, this quick transitional scene into the bedroom scene of him having sex with her while she makes these lifeless expressions of fake pleasure is more terrifying than anything else. It's an indication that not only has he essentially turned her into a robot that's enslaved by a mind that doesn't belong to her, but he is still choosing to continue to engage sexually, which basically means he's graping her. So after his little grape session, he wakes up in the middle of the night at 3:45 a.m. without her by his side. And I think a neat little detail here that I'm sure dozens of videos have probably already pointed out already, but I'm gonna share it anyway because I extrapolated it myself and I'm proud of that. Is that if you take the numbers 3:45 on the clock and turn it upside down, it spells out the word she. Now, it may just be a coincidence, but I don't know, apparently this movie is filled with shit like that, so I wouldn't put it past Barker to do something like that. Anyway, this is what happens next.
Go back to sleep.
Nikki.
Okay, let's pause. I know this moment effectively caused a widespread butthole clench. But why? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because of the creative use of framing and lighting that intentionally misdirects the audience. The center of the camera frame is conventionally where filmmakers like to draw the audience's attention towards. So instinctually, the first place the audience is going to look is straight down center towards the mirror, but the second we start diverting our attention to other areas in frame, we notice the dark figure in the corner as we quietly all shat ourselves. It serves as a beautifully done, subtle, and internal jump scare. Anyway, next she pulls this little move.
What are you doing?
She slowly walks out of the dark corner in the most awkward way possible. It reminds me a bit of the Japanese horror film Pulse, where we get that iconic scene of the demonic entities slowly walking towards the camera and doing that odd and terrifying wobble move. But I think that's something that really makes this so creepy, is that it establishes completely unpredictable behavior. Of course, the way she walked out of the corner was oddly unpredictable, but it sets the stage for the rest of the scene. It automatically puts the audience in a state of discomfort and uncertainty for the remainder of the scene's runtime, which obviously ups the scare factor and the overall suspense. So soon after, she creepily scurries back into the corner, which leads into what I consider to be the most unsettling moment in the entire film.
I feel like you don't love me as much as I do.
I don't even know where to begin in describing why this moment makes my skin crawl. There are so many things at play here that amplifies the terror of it all. But the main one that really screamed out to me is the use of combining dark lighting and practical makeup effects. If you thought her face looked slightly off in this moment, you'd be correct. Curry Barker put the actress Inde Navarrete in makeup that made her look slightly older, different, and just borderline demonic. But it's so subtle and only used for these 15 seconds of film, so using practical makeup effects and putting her in severely dark lighting for only a few seconds of film effectively gaslights the audience into a disturbed sense of uncertainty about what they just witnessed. But the ambiguous implication of why her face looks like that for a moment is also a terrifying concept. Because what is it? Is it some kind of visual manifestation of the force or entity that has enslaved her body and mind? Is it the face of the real disheveled Nikki coming out for a moment? Is it the spell slowly deteriorating her from the inside out? At the beginning of the scene before it cuts to her, she says,
I don't like my dream.
This immediately forces the audience to use their imagination in a frightening way as we think about what possibly could be going on in her dream state. And the film gives us another layer to this when it reveals the harrowing sounds of Nikki's voice trapped in some kind of metaphysical dimension.
Do you want to talk to her?
What? Who?
You want to talk to her?
Who is that?
I'm thinking that her dreams are some kind of portal that taps into this shadow realm from hell. So when she states that she doesn't like her dreams, it's a moment where a small part of the real Nikki is coming out and pleading for help in a way. But who's to know? I think a huge part of the horror is how it leaves some of these conceptual things unanswered. But also on a more superficial level, I feel like the specific cadence in her cries is just stuff straight from nightmares. Moving on, she tells him to go back to sleep, and for some reason he tries to. I don't know how or why any sane or insane person would even attempt to go back to sleep after experiencing this shit. But we get an ungodly long pause of silence until it's abruptly interrupted by her piercing screams.
Why don't you love me?
Nikki!
Not gonna lie, it's not really the most creative use of a jump scare. It basically just makes us wait a long time until a loud noise happens. But I mean, it is admittedly effective due to the long pause that kind of makes us all let our guards down for a second. But I think what is creative is this part. She terrifyingly hovers from one side of the room all the way to her bedside as she holds up a vase of flowers in front of her face. This to me is actually a powerful and unsettling symbolic shot. Because why even have the actress do this in this particular moment? Well, for me, it's supposed to represent Nikki's new identity that Bear has forced her to become. She puts the vase of roses in front of her face like a mask. It's a permanent mask that she must forever wear that is made to appease Bear and only Bear himself. This is why the flowers chosen for this shot are roses. Because roses are, in a cliche way, and just famously known for representing love. It's a mask made of roses because that's exactly who Bear wanted her to be. Not the Nikki who was clearly showing countless signs of romantic disinterest in him at the beginning of the film, but a Nikki whose face and mind only exists for the love and admiration of Bear. But something also worth thinking about is the fact that roses are also traditionally known to represent death as well. So the roses here could have a double meaning to where it also could be representing and foreshadowing all of the death that is to come from his one wish. Both the physical deaths that occur and also the psychological death of Nikki's former self. But that's my quick little breakdown about this particular scene in Obsession. It's obviously pretty much my favorite scene in the entire film. And I think a lot of people also resonated with it, so I just kind of wanted to spend some time to talk about it. But anyway, please don't forget that if you really enjoyed this video, to not only share it amongst your friends who you would think would also enjoy it, but also don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to be updated on more videos like this.